Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz chess postmortem video. This is a postmortem of my Blitz chess game number 109, where I was white, kicked off with d4, and we got into a Nimzo-Indian defense. So let's take a look at this. This is, let's back up. You can avoid the Nimzo-Indian by playing knight f3 or g3. G3 going into kind of Catalan setup, but knight f3 seems to be the most common move these days. But if you don't mind the Nimzo-Indian, knight c3 is the move, and bishop b4 the most common reply, although let's see, black here can still transpose back into a queen's gambit, declined by playing d5. But e3 is the Rubinstein variation. Queen c2, the classical, is more common these days amongst the grandmasters, but these are all still playable moves. Queen c2, knight f3, and e3 is still good for some advantage to white. Now d5, I thought that was a pretty common move here, but apparently not the top choice, just castling. Maybe d5 on the next move after castling is what I was thinking of. Bishop d3 here was not entirely accurate. The engine picked up on an interesting possibility here after bishop d3. So knight f3 is the move that should be played here, and then the bishop. If you go bishop d3 here, which I did, black can play e5, kind of a funny move. And if you take it, which is the normal thing to do, black takes over here. And now if you go ahead and take the knight, he takes the bishop. This is just kind of a sample line. You can take here, he plays rook g8. He can take here. So what's going on here? Yeah, that was a different line I was thinking of, where the bishop takes. So in this position, the computer rates this as slightly better for black. I don't know if I could figure all that out on the fly, but it's interesting to know that that move is playable. And if we back up here, take a look at the notation tab, back up to e5, d takes e5, d takes c4, e takes f6. Actually, the engine recommends, so let's see if we can figure this out. I guess this pawn is going to drop, and this pawn is a bit of a thorn in the side. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't count that pawn. Both sides have 6 pawns, and I think black just continues developing normally. I think, let's see, it's white's move here. That was the move, and rather than worrying about rounding this up, just develop the knight here. And I guess, anyway, the engine thinks this is a good position for black and recommends, instead of taking the knight here, taking the pawn, and then this check, and then knight here, rounding up this pawn. And also a position which is slightly favorable for black. So that's pretty interesting, and reminiscent of some other lines where you want to throw in the move knight f3 here, just to prevent black from playing e5 and getting into one of these crazy gambit type positions. Okay, bishop d3, so slight imprecision, but my opponent here didn't pick up on it and played a fairly normal looking move, d takes c5, getting my bishop out of place. And both sides continue completing their development. And here we go. c5 is an interesting move, undermining my center here. And I kick the bishop so that he could retreat there actually, because the pawn on c5 prevents me from playing b4 and trapping the bishop. But he decided to take at that point, which is what I wanted. I was provoking that exchange because I wanted the d pawn to be well supported so I could play the move e4 and not lose that pawn. So on move 12 here, he played rook e8, and that allows me to play e4. The chess engine actually recommends the move bishop to e4 there. And the main point is it's just clamping down on e4. I can exchange and bring a knight to that square, but not so easy to chase away. And actually a knight on that square is good because it attacks c3. So that would be best play for black. But he played rook e8, so now I get a decent move in here, e4. He plays e5, and I played d5, which is what I planned. And this is a nice positional move, but it has a flaw. The trouble with trying to play good positional moves is you have to also make sure the tactics work. So what's the flaw here? The flaw is that he can take the pawn. And if I take back, he plays here to e4, forking my two pieces and getting his piece back and destroying my center. So so d5 turns out to be a good move, but only because he let me get away with it. He played queen c7, and I played bishop b5, and now the fork is not there anymore, so no longer works to take take there. And so I have a pretty good position here. His bishop is kind of stifled by this central pawn chain, and his knights have not yet found good squares, and I'm momentarily pinning this knight. So when he he attacks my bishop, I decide to trade the bishop for the knight, and I think this is a good positional type move. Basically, the bishop is not as good a piece as that knight. That knight has potential to develop onto different squares and undermine my pawn structure, whereas as long as I have these fixed pawns in the center on light squares, that bishop was not going to be such a great piece. And here I come up with a plan of getting my knight to f5, which he should probably prevent by playing g6 at this point. But he plays another move, and that allows me to get my knight to here. So now I have a pretty good setup, and I'm just ready to play. I've got a blocked center, and I'm ready to play for a kingside attack. And his bishop is not, it's biting on granite here, as it were. Although I do have to be careful, there's still tricks. If the knight were under attack, for example, a bishop sacrifice here would undefend the knight. But that's not happening right now, so I can keep my knight there for a move and then advance it to h6, and then drop my queen back. And I want to attack his knight, but I want to stay over here on the king side, and the bishop is defending my knight. So I'm just trying to evolve a kingside attack. I'm getting my pieces out first, and then I throw the pawns forward. And let's see. Yeah, the slow build-up, I managed to keep some advantage through all of this. And even allowing f6 here is okay, because it weakens g6, so it gives me a better target here on g6. Bishop c8, h takes g6. And now here, king g2 here. Actually, he resigns after one more move, but right here is black's last chance to kind of equalize the game and hold on to it. And the move here for black is to play f5. And so just to give you an example of what's going on here, if I were to take, I kind of want to take these pawns and open up lines to his king, but those lines work both ways, and my king is a bit exposed, and his rook is already on the third rank. So something like this allows this move. I can't go there yet, sorry. Take it back. Take, he takes with the bishop. And then I bring my rook over to h1 because I'm trying to increase my attack, and then here, rook g6, and now my king has to run away. And so this gives black a fighting chance. I guess my king will make an exit this way, because it slows down my attack. I have to reorganize in order to continue. So that would have been an interesting way to play, and the way for black to continue the game. He actually was really low on time at this point, and just having trouble finding defensive ideas, which is the way a lot of chess games are won, actually. You know, if you get a strong attack, sometimes it's easier to find those attacking moves than the defending moves, and so your opponent gets into time trouble and makes a mistake. So g5 was such a time trouble blunder, and now I continue with rook h1, and he resigned here as his clock was running down. But I have too many threats here. Basically, the knight is coming here with check, forking these pieces. Now the bishop can always trade it off, but I also can put my queen on this file, and invade at the same time. So the combination of all these different threats is too much, and the chess engine rated this as winning for white. It gave it a score of +3, which is basically a piece up. So pretty strong attack here. And his knight, if you'll notice, his knight is still not doing a whole lot. And let's see if we get rid of some of these lines. His knight can only move to these squares, which his pieces are occupying. And his bishop is playing a defensive role, trying to control this square. But basically he's not too well organized to defend at this point. And I have my pieces ready to come in. The only piece of mine that's not doing too much is the bishop. But if he ever lets go, if he ever moves the queen, the bishop can come in on the c5 square. So good disposition of my forces. So anyway, yeah, he resigned here, and that's how it ended. Before I wrap this up, I wanted to say I'm going to be playing in a chess tournament this weekend. So it's a 3-day tournament, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and so I won't post a new video for a while. And the next video I post might be a postmortem. I'm hoping I'll have at least one interesting game in the tournament that I can do a postmortem on the slow game, and maybe go into some detail. The slow games can be pretty interesting and get into more strategic issues sometimes. And so we'll see how it goes. I just wanted to let you know I wouldn't be posting for a while, but I'll be back soon. And in the meantime, enjoy these videos that I've put up so far. If you have any comments on this one, leave them in the section below, and I'll see you later. Bye.